Hi.
Can I say
Hi,
Hello.
sir.
hello?
Good
Hello.
morning, Mr. Rios. I hope you're having
Good
a great
morning.
day because we have. Thank you for giving us opportunity to be interviewed by our group today. To formally introduce ourselves, we are Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering students from Technological University of the Philippines, Taguig Campus. And
How would you like to be addressed, first of all?
Ricardo is fine. I don't need
Okay.
any other
So
treatment.
you are based in Spain, right?
Yes, I am in Spain, in Zaragoza.
first question, sir, is which university did you go for college?
I went to the university in the city, Universidad de Zaragoza, Unizar, in
Oh,
the center called EINA, which is Escuela de Ingeniería y Arquitectura.
mm, thank you, sir.
Then why did you choose civil engineering as your program or career?
Well, in school, when you're kind of good at maths, you end up diverging to either physics, engineering, mathematics. No, because it seems pretty boring. But the rest, and while you try to decide if you want to stay in engineering or not, already you pass the first grade, the second, and you end up staying. So that's basically my reason.
If you could do it all over again, would you choose the same path for yourself, your career, sir?
Yeah, I would definitely choose it. In the end, I made good friends. I think I obtained quite the amount of knowledge. So I mean, I'm proud of what I ended up doing. Even if at the beginning I wasn't sure, I obtained something that I liked. So and basically that also opens doors along the way. It's one of the best grades to do because you are almost certain to have a job you finish.
How was your life in college, sir? And what are the challenges did you face while studying?
Okay, the life in college was very different to high school. You learn that either very soon or the hard way. I kind of learned it like 50-50 because I've never been like the kind of person that doesn't study, but I also wasn't the kind of person that loves to study. So the thing is, it was a huge step because of how different it is. You don't have real homework because the teachers don't really care if you do it or not. So sometimes you end up not doing it. So one of the challenges would be to adapt to the kind of life of having to work all by yourself. Also, another challenge would be meeting people. You usually end up going to a class where you don't know of the 100 people there, you don't know anyone. Also, I would say another challenge would be how different the exams were as well. Because usually in high school the exams are more like what you've learned, while in the university we're more like with the knowledge you obtain, do something new. So that was kind of how would I say it? It was just something that will tell you like you need to learn this very well because you are going to use it not in the way you used it in class, but in a new way. So you have to really understand it.
So you have to
Uh,
learn the things, how you are going to apply in such circumstances.
yeah, like you will have to learn basically the core idea you have to learn. For example, if you study something of physics or chemistry or something like that, now it doesn't just mean study the formula and be able to do anything. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
more like understand the formula, know how you get there, and that's how you will be able to solve all the other exercises. And as a lifestyle, it depends on how you take it, because there can be a lifestyle of taking the grade lightly
Mm-hmm.
instead of trying to go year by year, trying to be more relaxed. So you end up with more free time. You end up with, unless you're a genius and you have that free time and still pass year by year, which is quite hard. Unless you're that, you will be like 2 years late to finish or something like that. So you can take it very relaxed. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad way. I'm just saying it's a way to end up later than you would end up normally. But the thing is more relaxed. You have more free time. But if not, you have to study every day instead of studying every week. I don't know if it's understood.
Oh, I have a question. Since you
Yes.
said that it's relaxed time of phase, did you finish your study in 4 years, or you had to repeat some subjects and stuff?
I had to repeat some subjects on the third grade. I finished in 5 years, well, 4.5, because the project took. Uh, I ended up doing just the project the last half of the last year. But yeah, I finished in 5.
So wait, because in the Philippines we have this called professional engineering licensure exam, and do you have that also in Spain?
No, here once you finish the grade, which grade you have, like for example in where I studied in my university, they had 9 different engineerings. So once you finish one, you obtain the qualifications to, for example, do a project about that, a professional project. What is recommended usually is to do something else after, because nowadays a lot of people get the grade, they finish it, so you will get 200 engineers finishing the in the same year. The only difference that would make is to have something else. So you do a master, you do PhD. Some people do. That's usually to stay in the university working. And yeah, so you will end up doing something more. But once you finish the grade, you can already sign up as uh, a working a working person.
About your specialization?
Yeah, about my specialization.
Yeah, what is it? Because in the civil engineering in the Philippines, we have transportation, construction management.
I'm most of materials.
Would you
I
tell us
base my
about it?
okay. I base that's what I did my final project before finishing the grade, studying different kinds of materials, and it's basically to know the best materials for structures, or also how the materials will develop at certain temperatures, different environments, to know how the internal structure of the material would work. It's kind of hard because it's so, how would you say it? It's on a micro scale, so you have
What's
to
in
always be on the microscope. You have to test a lot of times, because sometimes you don't obtain the things that you should obtain, because here these are things that are proved, so you should obtain something, and sometimes you don't. So yeah, but also I transportation, and here that's the specialization of when I finish the grade. But as I said, you usually study a master after additional studies. So you usually, when you apply for a job, the specialization, they look more for the one on the master than on the one when you finish the grade.
Okay. Do you have questions, Jeremy?
When you choose the specialization, you don't really choose an specialization. You just choose subjects that are volunteer. So the same specialization have the subjects following up, continue, instead of having to mix from others. And sometimes, if I mixed from others, I would have two classes at the same hour. So it was not only the most interesting at the time, but also the most comfortable to choose.
What are your main responsibilities as an engineer?
Well, basically, you have to, for example, as civil engineering, you're usually going to be building stuff. So basically, you will have to be the one in charge to do that. Not all, because a project involves a lot of areas. But being civil engineering, you usually have to deal with the structural part, which is it's kind of nice. It's not very hard. You have to work a lot of hours because it takes time, but it's very. You always follow the same path. You have very good specific norms to do it, and also I guess when you gain more trust inside the place you're working at, you will be more in charge of your part of the project. You might be in charge of the whole project as a project manager. I think you're studying that,
Uh-huh.
or you will study that. Then also you can be a safety guy. So you're
Yeah.
in charge of everyone having the safety utilities, of having the safety utilities on the building so no one can fall.
Mm-hmm.
You can, you will, once you go up and up and up on the place you're working at, you are in charge of more, but also you are more confident to do it. It ends up not being a problem.
What's the best advice you can give to help us in our career or path as future engineers?
Um, the advice I would give you for right now is to study hard, focus on studying, but also try to find something else that will relax you. Because once you get too focused, you might lose the whole vision of the grade, and you might be bitter about studying. So, in order to avoid that, I would suggest not only to study, but also to find a hobby, find something to do different. And for the future, I would say, because you're going to be engineers, that you should not worry. For the future, you should not worry. Once you finish, you will be very ready to. I mean, here in this country, engineers are hired by any kind of business, even to do the economical stuff, even to do anything. Because as engineers, they prepare you to solve problems instead of solving your engineering problems. So once
Mm-hmm.
you finish engineering, you will be more able to solve any kind of problem. That's my mom always said it, that engineering doesn't teach you engineering; it teaches you to solve the problems in life. So that's you won't have to be worried because you will have all the tools you need, and also you're going to have hard times during college studying because you're gonna have it. As I said, unless you are pretty geniuses, that with an hour of study you can basically learn or understand everything, which is kind of hard to be honest. Unless that happens, you will really, really, really have the tools in life. You don't have any worries. You will solve the problems in your life. So that's basically a good thing about engineering. They teach you that.
Okay. Since you've told us that you faced several challenges in your university life, how did you cope up with those challenges?
Well, I mean, the challenges, when they come, you don't want to face them sometimes. That's obvious. If you can avoid something bad to happen, you try to avoid it. For example, when I started the first grade, I was I had never failed an exam until that point. I guess something similar happens to you because engineering usually takes the best to finish. And so I didn't fail an exam until that point. That year, I failed 4 subjects, and it was my first time going to do another exam to pass on a different time. Our exams are past the summer, so I spent the whole summer studying because it never happened in my life. So I didn't feel comfortable like some other people when they fail. They wait until the last month or something, but I didn't feel comfortable. It was my first time failing. I studied the whole summer. I ended up passing all, but still it's insecurity because you never fail, and now you come here and you start failing. It's not it's not on good taste. Okay. Another challenges would be when I had the surgery on my knee. I had to basically be on crutches going to classes and to practices. I remember that I had to wield. Am I saying that right? Wielding.
Yeah, I guess. I think.
Okay. I had to wield in a practice. I was going with crutches, and and it was very uncomfortable because I could not step. And wielding, you do it standing, so it was kind of hard. But yeah, and the rest challenges I would say are basically, I mean, you will be able to deal with it. Once you put your mind to it, you will be able to deal with it. What I did, just face them. Once you know you cannot run, you have to face them. So I do. What I would tell you to that it will be a good advice is to assume your mistakes instead of avoiding them. Okay. Once you make a mistake of if you fail, assume first because of lack of studying. Assume second because there must be something wrong with the teacher, or because there must be something wrong, or the teacher just went crazy and put an exam that in 1 year, one exam only passed 5 people of 100 and something in our class. I'm not. It's not to scare you. It's just to tell you that first focus on yourselves, focus on what you can control, okay, and assume your mistakes. Once you assume your mistakes, you won't have any problem to deal with the future troubles that you will have.
Best achievement so far on your chosen career.
Well, one achievement is obviously finishing it. Once you see the light, but it takes so long to get to the light, it seems like it's never going to end. But once one achievement is obviously finishing it. Another achievement is, for example, when I wanted to, because I had been looking for different masters to study, and I sent my CV to different universities and stuff. Another achievement is to see that they say, yeah, with your CV you would be admitted in this masters with no problem, even if the masters doesn't have that much to do with engineering, for example. So that's a good thing. That's you feel proud because it's like engineerings are usually in so high esteem to other people because they know it's not so for everyone. So they feel like it, they know it, and they know it's hard. So if you are an engineer, you are pretty well considered outside in the outside world. And also one achievement, even if it's not of engineering, when the head coach of the team asked me to coach the team as well. I guess that would be another achievement. And for the rest, I guess every time I finish something, I will have it as an achievement. And once I start something that I really like, it will be another achievement.
Okay. Aside from engineering questions, have you heard of the Philippines?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
If you will be given a chance to work in the Philippines, would you take it?
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of need of engineering in Philippines.
Yeah, especially
I
the
think it's
environmental one.
yeah. So I mean, for you, it's good. You will be able to find good jobs, and you will be able to help the country as well to grow, to be more
Mhm.
safe. So you have a nice opportunity right there.
So far, are you happy with your achievements that you graduated as an engineer?
Yeah, I am. I am. The when I was in first grade or second grade, I really wouldn't think I would be an engineer because of so much. It leaves a bitter taste in your mouth the first years. But once you start rolling, you end up, I'm not going to say really enjoying because having so much trouble, it's not to enjoy having to study so much or having to, or always facing the exams as they put. It's not really that enjoyable. But for the rest, you when you finish, you will be very proud of yourself. That's for sure. When you finish, you'll be very proud of yourself and people around you as well.
Sir, how do you manage your time?
Well, I tend to not put myself a timetable. Just I put the timetable for the things that I need. For example, the classes, obviously, and the trainings. Apart from that, all the time that I have, I spend either on studying or to have a lot of free time, which I usually don't have a lot of free time. So what I do is basically study. The mornings that I have free are 80% study.
Mm-hmm.
Once I finish before lunch, a little bit to have some free time before having lunch, and then I go to class in the afternoon, and then I go to the trainings after the classes. And then on weekends, I tend to give me either one morning, either if it's on Saturday or on Sunday, of free, of not doing anything. But the rest is full of either trainings or if I don't have trainings, I study.
Who inspired you to reach your
Well,
goals?
both of my parents are university professors of engineering, so mostly them. Also, one of my sisters is an engineer too. It's almost in the family, but for example, because professors, I know how hard a good professor works. So it gives you some confidence. There are always lazy professors, that's for sure. But once you have the one that really cares, the one that really tries to make you learn instead of just give you something, and if you don't learn it, it's okay with him. Once you find those kind of professors that really care, you feel more motivated to study and you have more fun That's the thing. You end up having fun when you study the things you understand. Once you understand it, you won't be nervous. You won't be, for example, that happened to me in the on the project I did when I finished, and in some projects I did during the grade. That I would not feel nervous. I'm usually a very nervous person when it comes to exams and all that stuff, but with the projects I usually wasn't because of the fact that you are going to explain something you did. How could you be nervous if you are going to explain what you did? If you
Mm-hmm.
did it, it's because you understand it. So for me, it was like I'm just going to say what I did. I'm not going to say anything different. If they ask me anything, I'm going to know because I understood what I did. So that's basically, you will have it too. I mean, you will, if you feel nervous one time, you will learn along the way that you will loosen up. You will stop feeling nervous. You will be more relaxed. When you go to exams, you will be like, it's another day. I'm ready. It's up to me, and I know I'm gonna achieve the goal, whichever goal you set yourself. I mean, if it's just to pass, to pass. But if it's to get it 90 or 100 or whatever, it's up to you. That's your goal. So you will gain confidence once you roll with the grade. Once you start going up the different grades. Thank you very much for considering me, and it was a nice interview.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
I
very much.
I wish
Thank
you
you
all
so
the
much.
Thank you,
best.
sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Can you
And
can you please stay because I'm gonna tell them something.